Hey girlies, welcome to this video. I'm Luminum and there's been something on my mind that I've been wanting to talk about. Some questions that I get asked on stream are, is this game similar to Genshin Impact? What are the big differences? Like, aren't they essentially the same game? Is it more fun than Honkai Star Rail? Is it worth getting into? So these are things that I wanted to talk about in this video and give my thoughts on it and why I enjoy this game. So I haven't played the beta. I've come into this game as a fresh new player coming into the official release, and I'm already Trailblaze level 31. This is like the 4th day or so as of recording this, and I've spent like hours on this game. Like the first day I spent 14 hours in the whole day. I took a little bit of a break on the second day, and then on the third day I just played like 12 hours of Honkai Star Rail. So girl, she has been no-lifing this game and she has not been touching any grass at all. So, I can tell you why I like it, but maybe you won't like won't like Honkai Star Rail for the same reasons, but I feel like there are some reasons that actually objectively just make Honkai Star Rail so much better than Genshin. So there are a lot of things that make Honkai Star Rail a lot more better. I wouldn't say it's any specific thing. If I could summarize everything in the most shortest way possible, I would say the thing that makes Honkai Star Rail above Genshin Impact is that Honkai Star Rail knows the difference between tediousness and repetitiveness. So what I mean with that is with Genshin Impact, it is not only repetitive, but it's also tedious, whereas Honkai Star Rail is only just repetitive. So think about something like daily questing. So for daily questing in Honkai Star Rail, it's a little bit different than Genshin. So in Genshin Impact, you have 4 quests that you do, and they could be all random. It could be go kill X, Y, Z characters or enemies. It could be go fetch an item. It could be fish something. It could be anything for the daily quest, and they could be all over the place. Whereas when it comes to Honkai Star Rail, if we go to the daily quest over here, you get a daily quest, just one, which is very simple to do, pretty easy. It could quite literally be just talking to someone and you're done in a minute. And then all these other daily quests that you can do over here. So complete an Echo Vault, which is kind of like an endgame content type of thing, or complete a Calic, which would be a domain type of thing in Genshin, or level up any relic, which is your equipment, your items, or just afflict weakness and break 5 times, which is just playing the game essentially. These daily quests don't feel tedious at all. They don't feel like you're going out of your way that much to complete them. I feel like these are things that you would normally just do, and you could complete them without even knowing. Or even this one is take a photo. Quite literally, it is so easy. You just go to your camera, and then bam, that's 100 to your daily quest. And you only need to get up to 500, and you can do whichever one you want. So for example, if I don't feel like completing this Echo of War, which is a endgame content, then I can just do these other things, and all I need to do is get up to 500, and what some of them give 100, some of them give 200. I can choose, and it just feels so nice. These quality of life changes that just make sense in Honkai Star Rail. And then when you go back to Genshin Impact, you're thinking why is this not a thing? So again, another example that I can bring is if we go into the domains. So this is a Calyx, which would be a ley line in Genshin Impact. These are the rewards I would get for this specific Calyx, and these are the XP ones, which would be the purple ley lines or blue ley lines. I'm colorblind. In Genshin Impact. Now, I've been playing some Genshin Impact a little bit just so I can go through using my resin and all. And when I've been playing it, I've been going through the ley lines, and it's just so tedious. You go from one ley line, and then you go to another one, another one, and they're all over the place, and it's just a little bit oh, this is so tiring and so much time. But when it comes to Calyxes in Genshin, oh sorry, Honkai, so I can actually do up to 6 waves at once. I only have 25 energy, but had I had 60, I can actually do 6 instances of Calyxes in one sitting. And, that's just so great for farming. And not only that, because it's a turn-based game with auto battle, it just makes everything so much more easier and fluid. So, in a ley line in Genshin Impact, you would have to wait, did I say ley line? In a domain in Genshin Impact, you would have to go into the middle of the tree thingy activate the thing and fight it, and then complete it, and then watch the animation, get the items, and rinse and repeat. But not only that, if you wanted to do like the condensed resin, which is like the doubling the resin when you get the butterfly thing and crystal, and then you have to go to the crafting table, craft the thing, go back to the domain, so you can get your rewards. It's just like, when you think about all of these things, it's like, why? Like, I don't mind grinding. I love grinding games. If anyone has played like MapleStory, like I grew up on that stuff. Like, I don't mind grinding. I don't mind repetitiveness, like daily stuff. It's just when things are like really tedious and you have to just like think about like, why is this system a thing? Like, why can't they streamline it, make it a little bit more easier? Like, hello. So a lot of things in Honkai Star, when you start playing, you're gonna think like, oh my god, this is just so much more better than Genshin Impact. Like, I feel like I'm just saving so much time. Like, you know, some people don't like the turn-based stuff, but I like that turn-based is in Honkai Star. Like, I like turn-based. I grew up on Final Fantasy X, so I don't mind turn-based stuff. And that lends it to like the auto battle feature, which is just such a like, oh, such a blessing. Like, let me tell you, when you wake up and you're eating and you want to do your daily quest, or, you know, use up your energy or resin, like, you can just eat and then autoplay, and everything would be done in like 2 minutes or whatever. Like, you can, you know, just save so much time and effort. Whereas in Genshin, it's like, I feel like if I'm gonna go do all my resin, go through all the daily quests, I feel like that takes like easily 5 to 10 times more time than in Honkai. So that's like one example of like why I feel like Honkai Star Rail just like makes everything so much more fluid, so much more easier, and like so many like quality of life changes. I guess like another thing that you can think about when it comes to like quality of life stuff is like when it comes to XP stuff, when you're leveling up a character or whatever. So in Genshin Impact, I believe if you level up equipment, like your weapon, sorry, specifically, and you use the crystals, you can be refunded your crystals back if you go overboard the level. But it doesn't happen for anything else, like your character XP or your artifact XP. Whereas in Honkai Star Rail, it happens for everything. You get refunded XP on your character, you get refunded on your light cone, which is your weapon, you get refunded on your relics, which is your, I guess, artifacts. Like, you can just like press one button to level up. I don't have the enough resources, but like you can just auto add, bam. If let's just say it was like maxed out and you had like overlapping XP, it would just refund you like some resources that, you know, are the leftover XP, and it's just like so nice. And you like, again, think about going back to Genshin, you're like, why is this not a thing? Like, surely this is just something they could easily implement, but it's not. But it's in Honkai Star Rail, so it just feels so nice, just like makes so much sense. By the way, in this video, I'm probably just gonna be like going through different things, random things that comes into my mind as to why I like Honkai more than Genshin. It's like, I could be missing some things, but, you know, these are things that like just pop into my mind. So maybe let's work into the late game of Honkai Star Rail. So there's actually 2 late game type of modes you can do in Honkai Star Rail. In Genshin you have the Spiral Abyss, but the Spiral Abyss only, you know, goes up to floor 12 and it resets every 2 weeks. This is the Spiral Abyss version of Genshin Impact, and, you know, it's pretty nice and easy, same type of deal, except for in this, because it's a turn-based game, you're not really like gated by time or judged on time. You're kind of judged on the cycles, so the turns, you have to kill the enemy in X amount of turns to progress. So that is just something that I like and makes sense, but something that makes even more sense to me, or like feels really nice, is the other late game content that I will show you. Oh, love that for me. So the other late game content is the simulated universe, which is this over here. So this is a roguelike type of game mode. So for those that don't know what roguelike is this like RNG type of style in games where you can kind of pick and choose, I guess, upgrades for your character or gameplay, and it's completely RNG, completely random, and you just progress through the stages or games with all these random buffs and changes to the characters or whatever. And it's nice because that allows you to have a different experience every time you play. So in Genshin, if you're playing the Spiral Abyss, you have the exact same monsters, and yes, there is like you can choose those 3 cards, but really, they're not really that transformative, and most of the time you choose the first one, I feel, so it doesn't really change your experience all that much. In a simulated universe, you're also going to be versing the same enemies in each world, so World 1, World 2, World 3, etc. You'll be versing the same characters in them, or enemies, sorry, but you're gonna have different choices, and they are so different. I'll be putting some gameplay over here so you know what I'm talking about, but the lovely thing about roguelike is that every experience is gonna be different, and you can choose your own path, and everything is just gonna feel different and fun and fresh. So for example, one playthrough of a stage or a world, you can go through it like a ice build, like you could have cards and buffs that make you have a chance to freeze the enemy, and you can keep on getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and you know, it's fun and fresh. And then the next time you play the exact same stage or world, you could go a completely different path. You could go like a damage over time path, so you get cards that buff your damage over time, make them longer, stronger, etc. And it makes the game a lot more different, the experience a lot more different, and it's like fun. And over time you might discover new things, like because not everything is set out at the start, you won't get to be able to discover all the new like cards or buffs or paths. Like they show you more paths down the line as you play, and you're like, oh, that's new, oh, that's new, that's so fun, I want to try that. And it's just like such a cool experience. And you know, I wish I was in Genshin Impact, but you know, I'm glad that it's in Honkai, and it's just like a really cool experience. And you know, I feel like roguelike games generally have like high ratings when I see like, you know, Hades, for example, if you guys have seen that. Like I feel like roguelike generally has like a lot of high praise, and obviously they have a lot of replayability, which is a problem with Genshin Impact. So with Genshin Impact, you all know, like once you've cleared stage 12, it's like the same thing in Spiral Abyss. And even if you can't clear stage 12, like you're stuck at stage 11 or whatever, floor 11, like it's essentially like the same experience and same thing. Like you just button mash and like pummel the enemy down and hope that you can like get the time right. But in Honkai Star Rail, like with the roguelike element, everything just feels so fun and fresh. Also, not only does Honkai Star Rail have the roguelike element that lets you discover new things, it actually has systems that incentivizes you to discover new systems. So if you're looking in the index, over here I have 97 out of 154 blessings discovered. So, or chosen, should I say. So the blessings are like those cards that you see that will buff your team. So I still have like 50 or 60 blessings that I haven't chosen, and I do get rewarded for choosing them. So I can actually get more Stellar Jades, which is your pre-mage gems, with the more blessings that I have unlocked, or not so unlocked, but chosen when I play through. And these are like another way of like, these curios are like items that also change up the game, and again they're also like RNG, and also like you pick and choose. So it's just like really cool that you not only want to, as a player, and you know, out of your curiosity, wants to go to different paths and abilities and all, but the game actually rewards you. So if you don't have anything to do, like let's just say you've gone through all the quests, you've gone through the main story, you've gone through all your energy, you've done everything you wanted, you could come into the simulated universe and play through it and not feel like it's a waste of time. You know, with Spiral Abyss, when you don't have anything to do in Genshin Impact, you don't really have any reason to play the Spiral Abyss if you've already completed it. Like, you don't get any more rewards, and the experience is the same. Whereas in Honkai Star Rail, not only is the experience different, but you do get rewarded because you still haven't discovered or chosen some of the paths yet, which is such a cool idea. I think it's like honestly like genius for Honkai Star Rail to come up with, so I love that. There are also other incentives, like when you go over here, which is the Herta store, you can actually buy 5-star light cones or weapons, which was really amazing. So these are like the currencies that you use to buy it, and you can, you know, keep playing the simulated universe over time and get these light cones. So like, it's a really cool incentive. You get to get weapons, you get to get Stellar Jade or Prima Gems. Like, it's such a cool experience. Another thing that comes into my mind, although I can't really confirm if this is actually something that's real or if I'm just feeling it, is that I do feel like the reward is a lot more generous in Honkai Star Rail. And I feel like the materials, like at the moment I have kind of run out of materials and resources, but I feel like when you're starting out, like it's not as expensive as like Genshin Impact, and I think that's because like in Genshin Impact it's an open world, whereas in Honkai Star Rail you have these maps and there's only obviously so many characters, oh sorry, enemies that you can place in this tiny map and zones, and so I think my tinfoil hat theory is that Honkai Star Rail makes it so you don't have to farm as much. Like to upgrade your characters and your light cones and your relics is not as expensive because there is only so many enemies you can fight. Whereas in Genshin Impact, it's like a big open world, lots of enemies, so a lot more things to farm, and also chests. Like over here, there's only 10 chests on this specific maps or zone. There's only 7 chests in this specific zone, and that's not counting like when you do like quests that like might add more chests. But in Genshin, like they could add like so many chests in this big world, so which would give you more materials. So I think in Honkai Star Rail, things are like less expensive because of this reason. But again, I don't know if I can really confirm that. That's just like what I feel. In terms of gameplay and character design, now I don't mean like aesthetics or anything, I just mean for gameplay. I just feel like Honkai Star Rail makes a lot more sense and just feels more correct. So, and this is more specifically talking about healers and shielders and tanks and whatnot. So in Genshin Impact, healing is not really that necessary because you can dodge. You can dodge the enemy and save HP. Like in this early games or early days of Genshin Impact, a lot of people were saying like don't get healers because it's just useless, and it's true because healers don't really do anything. Yes, you can have Zhongli to shield and you can have Kokomi to heal, and it just like makes life a little bit more easier, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference because you can dodge the stuff. You don't need to take that damage unless you're like, I guess, playing like a specific, Bloom build. But in Honkai Star Rail, because it's a turn-based game and you cannot dodge, you are guaranteed to get hit. The enemies will hit you. So that incentivizes you to actually have healers and actually have shielders, such as like Bailu, who is like, I guess, the Chi-Chi of Genshin Impact. And as you all know, Chi-Chi is considered like a really bad character to have in your team. So in Honkai Star Rail, like if you ever do get a healer like Bailu, you're not feeling like it's like a wasted role. It's not a wasted character. Like you can actually use her. Not only can you use her, you should use her. Like otherwise you will die. So that's a really cool thing that Honkai Star Rail has that I really really like. And this goes into my next point, is that going back over the different game modes, the end game stuff of Simulated Universe and the Forgotten Hall, it's just like such a cool idea, both of them. So let's go to the Forgotten Hall. So what I mean is that with the Forgotten Hall, which is your Spiral Abyss, like I said, the main goal of it is to kill the enemy as fast as possible, or kill the enemy as in little cycles or turns as possible. Same thing with Genshin, you want to kill the enemy in a specific amount of time. You want to kill them as fast as possible. So it's like a time type of thing, a time goal. Whereas in the Simulated Universe, which is the roguelike game mode that we spoke about before, the enemies are actually really hard. I have died many times in the Simulated Universe. There was one time on stream, I was going crazy. I was doing this World 3, like 5 times, 6 times, maybe even more. Like I just could not beat the last boss. I was just dying, and it was just like way too hard for me. And I needed stronger healing. I needed a shielder. I don't have a shielder that's strong apart from March. Is it 8? March, the character. I just have my Natasha healing me, but the enemies were actually killing me, and that makes you think about like, oh, I need more survivability. It's not just about damage, because I feel like in Genshin Impact, it's all about damage, get high damage. If you're not doing damage, then you're useless, right? Whereas in Honkai Star Rail, not only do you have to think about damage, you have to think about survivability. You might have to think about resource management. Such a nice like gameplay element, like you just never really thought about in Genshin, or had to think about in Genshin, which I love. Again, I love turn-based games. I feel like turn-based games like have a level of like customizing for your team comps, your builds and all, and strategizing that is just like so fun to me. So yeah, the gameplay is just I personally like. If you're not into turn-based games, then I can't really convince you of anything. Like, I can't tell you to play the game or whatnot. But yeah, I'm just telling you the things that I think just like makes the game really cool and just makes a lot of sense. I guess another thing that I can talk about that's just coming to my mind is that the free-to-play characters are actually pretty good, and have a purpose in your team that feels right. So March 7th, Dong Hong, Asta, a few others, and the main character, like, they're not like just things you don't want and toss away. Like, they actually are pretty good and pretty strong and can carry you through the early game. I mean, if you want to get keep them for the late game, like, go ahead. Like, they're still like fine unit. Like, sure, if you want to get like a 5 cost unit to replace them, go ahead. But it's like, it doesn't feel like a must thing. Like, whereas in Genshin Impact, like, the free to play characters like are just a bit like useless. Like, when has anyone being like, oh, I want to keep Barbara, right? Barbara was your first free-to-play healer, but I feel like a lot of people kind of just like ditch her once they get another healer or another hydro applicator or whatever. So, I feel like in Honkai Star Rail, the free-to-play characters are pretty good. So if that's something that's like, good for you, then yeah, that's like a thing that's nice about Honkai Star Rail. Now, as for aesthetics and vibes or whatever, I personally do like the fantasy setting of Genshin Impact. I'm not really a huge fan of sci-fi for the most part. The only times I can tolerate sci-fi is if it's very colorful, like in Honkai Star Rail, or if you played Final Fantasy 13, kind of like that, where things are colorful and there's like a lot of like shape and design and intricate like detailings and all. Like, I like that, whereas something like Star Wars or whatever, Star Trek, things are usually like so gray and like boxy and like sharp triangles or like shapes. I'm just like a bit like, ugh, I don't like it. So generally I like the fantasy setting of Genshin. In terms of story, I would say I like Honkai more because it just feels like a more, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like the topics they talk about or go through just feels like a little bit more mature, whereas in Genshin I feel like it's a bit more like la-di-da, fun, like not so serious. Like Honkai Star is still like not serious, and when I say like more mature, I don't mean like plus 18 mature. I just mean more like things that like a bit more heavier, and it feels a bit more. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just like the story in Honkai more. And there's also a boss fight that we had on stream. I'm not gonna spoil it, but if you do want to get spoiled, you can watch my reaction to it in my other video. I faced the first boss in the first zone in the Iceland, which is in over here, Jarilo. And the boss was just such an incredible type of experience. Like, not only was the music amazing, the cutscenes were amazing, it made me feel like so transcended. Like, if there was something I could compare it to, it felt like Final Fantasy 14 type of boss fights and cutscenes and all. So if you ever played Final Fantasy 14, like the late stages of it, like the music is incredible, the vocals, everything, and the cutscenes are just like, ugh, mwah. Whereas in Genshin Impact, like, I feel like the cutscenes and the boss fights were kind of like whatever. Like, if you thought about the first boss in Genshin Impact, like Dvalin, I think it was just like so like whatever. Like, who cares? There's later in the stages, like when you verse the who is that guy with the hat, the animo dude, the puppet, the dude, the one in Sumeru where you verse like the big boss and it becomes a big robot. Like, yeah, that felt like kind of grand, and the music was like pretty like nice, I guess. But it's like it's a different type of like music. When I was looking back over the footage when it came to my boss fight, I kind of thought about like, I think the reason why Honkai Star Rail like is a different vibe, especially the music and all, is because it's a turn-based game, so like you can kind of just like have some time to soak in and experience and sit back and just feel the emotion, feel the grandeur, and feel the fight, just like everything going on. Whereas in Genshin Impact, it's just like fast-paced, type of action, so I guess it just doesn't like have the same type of vibe, I guess. I don't really know if that's really like the reason why, but that's what I think and feel. But yeah, I personally like the boss fights a lot. I like the cutscenes a lot more in Genshin, in Honkai Star Rail. But that's a subjective thing, so you're gonna have to experience it yourself. I don't want to spoil it, so I don't really want to put up too much of the footage or any of the footage. But again, if you want to see me playing through the first boss, then go ahead, or second boss really, then go ahead and watch my other video on that. Oh, I forgot. Going back to like, you know, the difference between repetitive and tediousness. You girls know in Genshin Impact when you're going for the materials, like when you go to the guild thingy, like, you know where you get to claim your daily quest, and you want to like put your characters to farm up for some mora or farm up for some berries or whatever. It takes like 18 hours or whatever. Like, to replace them is so annoying. You have to go to the girly girl, I forgot her name, so sorry. Then you have to click on your characters, claim the reward, and then you have to click on again the thing like 5,000 mora that you want to farm. Click on the character, confirm, bam, do it for each one. It's just so like tedious and so annoying. Whereas in Honkai Star Rail, you can do the same thing, like farm again. Like, I can put my characters up for farming. It takes like 20 hours, or you can make it shorter, like 8 hours or whatever. So let's just say I'm farming up for XP. I'm using these characters. When I finish dispatching, it will give you an option to just auto replay the same characters. Literally like 1 or 2 clicks, just bam, click for auto do for the characters, and the characters just get put back in straight away. And it's like such an easy, fluid, streamlined thing that makes so much sense, saves so much time compared to Genshin Impact with the clicking characters, confirm, click again, blah blah blah, replace, do it for each 5 times. It's just like, why? Like, why is that a thing? Like, I swear, when you play Honkai Star Rail, you're gonna go back to Genshin Impact and just think like, why is this not in Genshin Impact? It makes no sense at all. Like, why is it so tedious? Why is it so annoying? Right? Like, again, we don't mind about repetitiveness. Again, it's like, this is a gacha game, you know, it's gonna have the same similar repetitiveness, daily stuff, you know, logging back in to play that daily habit, but it's the difference between tediousness and repetitiveness that is like such a big factor as to why I think Honkai Star Rail is a lot more better than Genshin Impact. Like, you will feel it. And oh, another thing is like when you're fighting enemies, like in Genshin Impact, if you're like farming up enemies and they drop items, you have to spam that F button, F, to pick up the items, and you have to run around, you know, especially if they're all scattered around, you have to like press F and run around to get all the items. Whereas in Honkai Star Rail, you don't have to press F at all. You don't have to press any button. Once you finish a fight with an enemy, you will get all the rewards at the end automatically. Don't have to press anything. It just feels so good. It feels so nice. Like, in Genshin Impact, like with the daily stuff, repetitiveness, like pressing the F button is gonna get really tiring and annoying like quickly. Whereas in Honkai, it's just so easy, so nice, makes so much sense. It's like, oh, thank you so much. So again, like, there's just like not one specific thing that makes Honkai Star Rail like better than Genshin. It's just like a lot of things that work together makes a better experience, in my opinion. It just makes a more fun and enjoyable experience playing. So yeah, that's Honkai Star Rail and why I think Honkai Star Rail is a better game than Genshin and why I enjoy it more than Genshin. So these are some of the reasons why I like Honkai Star Rail more than Genshin and why I think it's better. Some of them are subjective, and there are some things that I might have missed that haven't come into my mind, but I hope you guys get the idea that like, this game just feels a lot more correct in terms of the systems. It feels a bit more streamlined. It just feels a lot more easier and fluid, and just makes your experience so much more better. I actually do highly recommend anyone that's been wondering about this game to play it. Like, it's free unless you spend money on it, but it's free. So I think like you should give it a shot, right? Like, I've been playing this game quite a lot. I've been addicted, have not been touching any grass. Like I said, on the first day I played 14 hours. Third day I played like 11, 12 hours. Like, I have been addicted. So I really highly recommend people to play this game. I think it's really enjoyable. Again, if you don't like turn-based games, I can't do anything about that, unfortunately, but for those that are on the fence, like, at least give it a try and see how it goes. It doesn't hurt to try, like, you know, if you don't like it, then just uninstall, it's for free. But yeah, anyways, that's the video for today. I wanted to just tell you guys why I like Honkai Star Rail, because it's been something I've been asked a lot on, and you know, questions that are being asked in my streams. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. I wanted to just answer the questions that I get asked on stream, so hopefully I did that well. And you know, if you want to watch me streaming, you can always click the link in the description box below. And if you want to see more of these type of content, maybe some gameplay videos for Honkai Star Rail or any other game, you can always click that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on a video when I release it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a lovely time playing Honkai Star Rail and have a lovely day in general. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.